Hello everyone and welcome. Make a cup of your favorite drink and get comfortable because this is a wonderful time for news stories from Yellowcat. Send your own stories in the comments below and maybe they'll be in our new video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet, and let's get started. What happened at your workplace to cause mass quits? Part 4. I used to work for a smaller local chain of hockey equipment stores. The flagship stores boasted first-rate staff and amenities that was situated in a separate state. For a while, it was the only store, but then the owner developed a crazy aggressive streak. I was hired as a part-time employee while in college, along with 7 other people I knew from playing hockey in the area, when he opened 2 new stores in my city. For a while, we had a passable system in place, allowing people to arrange decent hours and scheduling with relative ease. Then the crazy streak came back. 6 months after the business opened, the owner let go of 4 employees for a variety of reasons. In order to keep the 4 surviving employees, the owner then bought 2 more stores. My wife was threatening to divorce me, which made sense considering that I hadn't seen her for more than an hour a day due to work and school obligations for more than a month. My planned hours at college were up to roughly 60 hours per week. I was the only part-time worker left after the other 3 weeks. They had all quit. 2 weeks later, summer vacation was about to begin, and he had only hired 2 more part-timers. They informed me that they would not be hiring any more staff, so I would have to work 80 hours a week with some overtime pay. 3 workers for every 4 stores. I immediately gave up. It didn't take me long to realize that this operation was going to fail. They're still in business, but 2 of the stores are essentially closed because no one works there. How wasteful. The company I worked for, a tourist attraction with live shows, took away a lot from its workers, like bonuses and Christmas packages, which is common in the Netherlands. There was also no money to improve the quality of the company, but a lot of it went to useless things. People started passing out in the summer because we had to wear turtlenecks and leggings under all of our costumes, and most of them were already pretty warm without the extra layers. It didn't matter how tired or hot we were, they told us to work faster and harder. The most important thing was making money, and as actors, we were seen as little more than a robot set to say the same line 6 to 8 times an hour. The cherry on top, though, was that office workers still got their yearly bonuses, even though actors like us worked hard every day for very little pay. Now that I think about it, it's silly to think that the company is still allowed to run. There are several attractions run by the same company in Europe and one in the US, and from what I've seen and heard, they treat their employees much better. Worked at a lube shop for over 2 years and got promoted to AGM at a store about 45 minutes away that then fell apart because of the manager going on an illegal substance bender and ending up in jail. They sent in a new general manager after I ran the business for 2 weeks by myself with just 4 other employees who were never on time in the mornings. I was forced to stay 2 hours after closing for really silly things like rearranging oil and air filters, among other things. When I learned that my fiancé and I were expecting a child, I made the decision to step down and go back to my old place because the pay and distance weren't worth it. After a year, I receive a promotion to AGM at a different shop that's nearly an hour away. Even though he lacked official training, ASE or ACE certs, the manager there was always in a bad mood, trash-talking everyone and acting like a hot mess. One day, after 2 employees had to leave during the day while he wasn't there, he came in for inventory and asked, "Has it been an S show all day then?" Even though the day was challenging, the production levels were either excellent or above average. At that point, I lost it and told him everything. Up until his arrival, everything was okay. When I told him, "You were my effing problem, and I think most people would agree that you're the biggest problem in this shop with your S attitude every day, and all the smart AS you say just pees people off." He didn't like it and asked what was wrong. I happily left, and a week later, I learned that 4 out of the maybe 6 employees had quit. I was so aware of how everyone felt about him and how many people had commented that I should replace him that I even told him as I was leaving, "Good effing luck, you're about to lose half of the people still here after I'm gone." The main issue was that the general manager was living with the operations manager, so no one could tell him bad things without ignoring it and keeping him employed. Working at my last job for many years, I enjoyed my work and the people I collaborated with. The Green CEO continued to make grave errors that reduced the company's earnings. After 47 years, the owner eventually desired to retire. Thus, he began searching for a potential buyer for the business. However, the CEO took a ship that was barely making it by and made massive holes in the hull. Without informing anyone, it was rapidly sinking. Not until I asked him for a raise, to which he agreed to give me half and said, "Give me 6 months to work things out and I'll get you the rest." "Sure," I replied. 5 days later, he says, "I wanted to let you know that the property's owner is attempting to sell it. If he accepts the buyer's offer, we'll have to close our 7 satellite locations and cease all retail sales. We only enter the wholesale market. We depart from here and head 2 hours north to a new warehouse. I just wanted you to know that I'm quitting because I don't want to give that man any more money if he doesn't accept this deal." I sat there dumbfounded. My car's wear and tear had eaten away at the raise he just gave me. I'm unable to follow the company and move. It really got under my skin. I thus go speak with the owner face to face. I wasn't supposed to know what was going on, which is why he's upset. He then rips a fresh hole in CEO, claims that I ought to meet the new owner and that I will like the new owner. The other managers of the company, along with the new owner, are all furious about the current situation. The new owner assures us that the plan will not come to pass. There's nothing to be concerned about. After 6 months, I bring up my raise with the Green CEO once more. A few months prior, he had promised that I would receive my raise and that the restructuring would put me in charge of IT for 2 different companies. Additionally, the CEO would return to his area of strength, accounting. The CEO would be the new owner. F nothing. He states, me and the other guy, we're buying the company together. As a result, this piece of S destroyed the business by undervaluing it. Due to the company's extreme losses, the founder/owner was forced to give it away. Subsequently, the CEO and new owner will not be promoted to head of IT. Then has the gall to suggest I handle all of the IT work and go into sales in order to get commissions. Additionally, he took my IT assistant with him and promoted him to head of marketing and graphics design. It took 2 months after I told the other managers everything. 3 departments, including mine, were gone. 4 satellite locations have closed, and the red is getting smaller. When fools with no management experience are placed in charge of a retail or customer service-oriented industry, it's truly disheartening. Americans, what is your most horrific encounter with the Homeowners Association/Neighbors from H, Part 4? This HOA jerk was taking notes on his iPad as he walked around our neighborhood. He asked, "Just curious, when do you guys take out your trash and recycling bins?" I was in my garage at the time and saw him coming. I was about to say the night before trash pickup when my dad jumped in and said, "Usually it's 6 a.m. morning of." I made a WTF face at him and the HOA guy said, "Thanks, I forgot the exact time." Again, I thought WTF as the guy left. I asked my dad what was going on, and he told me that they ask these questions like they don't know, and if you give the wrong answer, they fine you right then and there. Because it looks like we need to take out the trash right away before the trash comes. In my neighborhood, no one does that at all. It's always the night before. Also, we got a ticket for having fake grass instead of real wood on our balcony. It's beyond my comprehension how they could see it. Also, they sent me a letter warning me for leaving my car on jack stands in the driveway for a long time, which never happened because I was at a baseball game the day they saw it and I drove that car to the game. I hate them. During my time in college, I lived in a townhouse condo for the very first time that I did not rent. Cookie cutter, 3-story, 4-to-a-section, little cutout of suburbia for beginners for those who are just starting out. At the very back of the development was where I lived. This meant that on a daily basis, in order to get to and from work and school, I had to drive past the front units. The treasurer of our HOA, Zelda, lived directly across the street from Sonia, who served as the president of our HOA board. After 3 o'clock in the afternoon or on the weekends, I detested driving by Sonia's house because her 2 elementary-age children would hide behind parked cars and run in front of your vehicle while screaming, "Slow down!" Sonia was in her 30s at the time, and she ran an illegal daycare company out of her home. After this happened a few times, I became extremely terrified, and I drove through that area at a speed of only 5 miles per hour. The little S's continued to do it. The dangers of jumping in front of cars were brought up in a conversation I had with their mother. Due to the fact that I am terrified and they are basically harassing me and our neighbors on a weekly basis, I'm only going 5 miles per hour. Sonia's informed me that her children are acting as protectors of the neighborhood and I ought to be grateful for their hard work. WTF? After working my retail job after school, I arrive at the residence 1 week later at 7 o'clock after the majority of the residents, who are primarily young families, have returned home. A tow truck is visible to me. Then there are 2. Then there are 3. I can't believe they're going to tow everyone in the neighborhood. Holy effing D. After parking my vehicle in my garage, I dash upstairs to inform my roommates that they should move their vehicles from the street parking lot. They ran out, and without a doubt, every single person who had parked their vehicle on the street was being towed. There's a dispute going on between 2 of my neighbors and the tow drivers who've always utilized that parking spot. According to the booklet that we have for homeowners, it's a parking area. We quickly retrieve it, and the drivers of the tow truck claim they're simply carrying out Sonia's instructions, and they promptly depart when the police arrive. In the middle of the day, Sonia signed a contract with the tow company and put up paper signs that she had printed at home. Furthermore, she did not inform anyone about her actions. After informing all of the residents that this would take effect tomorrow, the police officers informed them that the homemade signs that Sonia had made were not legal and that there were no parking signs that were posted. Guys, the previous evening, she was seen walking down the street with a bucket of paint in a red color painting the curb red. The following afternoon, she instructed the tow company to post their tow signs as well as signs that prohibited parking. Goodbye to parking on the street. At this time, anyone who was unable to fit in the garage was required to park outside the condo units, which was 3 blocks away. One day, 4 large evergreen trees were cut down from a communal park in the development. This moment was the next straw that broke the camel's back. After discovering that Sonia had paid her side man, who was also an arborist, more than $8,000 of HOA money to cut down these trees, Zelda, an elderly lady and treasurer, discovered this information. Without the HOA board having any kind of discussion or giving their approval, Zelda flipped her S, and at the subsequent HOA meeting, everyone was informed about what had happened to the trees and how Sonia had squandered our HOA money. We had been planning to establish a community agricultural cooperative garden. I believe that someone else on the board called Sonia after the meeting at 6 o'clock to inform her that she was going to be removed from her position as president of the HOA due to the unapproved expenses, the towing issue, and other issues. Little after 8 o'clock, I hear screaming, as in a woman shrieking in a way that makes your blood boil. "Help! Ask the police to come!" It's Zelda, right? Reddit. She can be heard yelling and yelling outside of her condominium. Zelda, who was 70 years old at the time, was punched in the face by Sonia, who then dragged her out of her own house, locked her out, and threatened to hurt Zelda's disabled and bedridden elderly husband, who was located upstairs. Effing Zelda is absolutely hilarious. Zelda's yelling every curse word in the book through her own front door at our crazy former HOA president while I'm on the phone with the police. There are approximately 5 other neighbors who are also outside on the phone with the police. That night, Sonia was taken into custody for some crazy offense which included assaulting someone and holding someone hostage. Approximately 1 hour after Child Protective Services arrived, Sonia's children were taken away by relatives because she was a single parent. I believe that Sonia clawed Zelda's shirt and pulled her into the haymaker as she had a large number of scratches on her chest and a gnarly black eye. Zelda was completely covered in scratches. After only 14 months of living there, I decided to move because the problems with the HOA were getting worse. A fake HOA in our neighborhood. Started as a neighborly act, cheap $75 a year. Cleared roads, spring dumpsters, summer barbecue. The bored housewife with nothing to do became HOA president. They held elections and meetings, raising the HOA fee 200%. She mentioned new street signs, roads, sidewalls, and neighborhood entrance gates. In the 1940s, our home was the original. I assumed the owners sold land for nearby homes. No neighborhood pool, park, trails, or common areas. I declined membership in the small HOA club. She called because I was past due on HOA fees. I politely told her we bought this home because there is no HOA. I agreed to use the roads when she asked. Her response, use my roads for a fee. I told her I pay property tax. I requested that she never contact me again. Funny some join HOA. They installed $15,000 in stop signs. 5 intersections. Now she wants to resurface the over-mile road. Good luck with that. I'll be the one they hate for hanging her laundry to dry. Do not buy in an HOA. If you want to watch the part 3, click the link here. We're very, very glad to see you all in the comments again. And many thanks for support.